on Sports Time Ohio. From Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, it's Cleveland Indians baseball today. The Tribe looks to continue their winning ways against New York. It's Game 3 of this 4-game series. And before the ball game today, the Yankees paying tribute to one of their all-time greats, Jorge Posada. 17 years in pinstripes, 5 times an All-Star, 5 times a World Champion. Had his number officially retired. Kind of fitting, number 20 is the 20th Yankee number to be retired in franchise history. Welcome in, everyone. Matt Underwood alongside Rick Manning. The Tribe has had their way with the Yankees this year, Rick, and the way they've done it is they've played very good baseball. Not always perfect, but they've played well. And the one thing that jumps out at me is that they're averaging more than 10 hits a game in the against the Yankees, and for an offense that struggled, it's amazing how well they've swung the bats.
It's been a total team effort from top to bottom. It's been a nice blend of pitching and hitting. And when you look here, the Indians, a lot of 2-out base hits, guys going the other way, using the whole field. It's been fun to watch because, you know, they've had the lead early. They played a lot of one-run games against the Yankees in the first 5. So when you can get hitting and get that nice blend of pitching, that's how you get one-run wins. And the Indians have done it. As you look at our Buick stat of the game, they're 4 out of 5. 3 wins have come by a 1-run, 4.6 runs per game. So 4.5, that's a nice blend. But the starters have been very good. They've taken the lead early, and they just continue to do the same thing. And New York is, I think, a little shocked by the way the Indians are playing them.
And it doesn't get any easy for those Yankee hitters because they're going to face Danny Salazar today. You know, we've talked about how good Carlos Carrasco has been. And I mean, I think Danny Salazar maybe is pitching as well as any of the Indian starting pitchers.
They're starting to feed off each other, from Kluber, from Salazar, Carrasco. Carrasco last night, his ball was moving all over the place. Salazar now has been really dealing with his fastball, his splitter, that changeup that he has. He's got a new grip on his little 2-seamer he's throwing right now to get a little more movement going down for the ground balls. But Salazar has been outstanding in his last 6 starts, so we hope he can continue the string here against the Yankees.
Well, it's the Indians and the New York Yankees coming up here on Sports Time Ohio. And for the Tribe, Danny Salazar. How good has he been on the road? Consider this. In his last 3 road starts, he's given up 2 earned runs. Hopefully the Tribe bats continue to play well in the Bronx. The first pitch is coming up next. pitch, and it's swung out and missed. Breaking ball, ring him up. Oh, what a catch by the drive center fielder. Swung on and missed. Got him looking with a heater. Carrasco strikes out the side, deep right field. It is gone. Play with fire, you get burned. Yes, you do. Almonte makes the catch on the warning track to end it.
Welcome back to Yankee Stadium. I'm Andre Knott. The Indians are looking to win their third game in a row versus the Yankees, and they have Danny Salazar on the mound. In his last 4 starts, he's 3-0 with an ERA under 1. Why has Danny pitched so well? Well, check out the grips of his two-seam fastball. Let's look back at April, how he held it, and look how he's been holding it over his last 5 starts. Rick, Matt, when you look at how he's holding the ball, he's holding it a little bit differently. He's getting more movement with it, and when he gets behind in the count, rather than trying to throw that 4-seam fastball by people, he's using the two-seamer that moves and is inducing contact, something that his manager, Terry Francona, has picked up on as well.
I do think you see guys evolve and they learn and they develop as they're going. I think what's happened with this, it's not a trick, it's not a secret formula, but what it's allowed him to do is make that pitch and throw it with very good arm speed, and then it has some really good movement to it. And it's another pitch where he can induce early contact and keep him off the barrel. That's huge.
You know, the one other thing that goes along with this, Rick and Matt, is confidence. Salazar has confidence to throw this pitch, and he's not worried about the strikeout. We all remember when he would have those 3-inning games where he'd get 9 strikeouts. Now he's trying to get deep in the game, and this is working for Danny Salazar.
Well, you continue to learn, and anything you can do. And I totally agree with that. It's a matter of having confidence to throw a pitch in certain situations. And when you have success doing that, it certainly helps. So Danny Salazar has been great. Let's hope that pitch continues to work for him.
Hopefully his pitching will be better than Jorge Posada's. He had his number retired today. He just threw a hand grenade to his poor son who was trying to catch it. But Jorge Posada, a Yankee great, obviously a 5-time world champion. His number 20 retired, the 20th number retired by the Yankees in their great history. Luis Severino's on the hill for the Bronx Bombers. Let's look at Terry Francona's starting lineup for the Indians, brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Jason Kipnis is leading it off, followed by Francisco Lindor. Michael Brantley will hit 30, now leads the league batting with runners in scoring position, batting .374. Santana, Chisenhall, and Almonte in the middle third. Then it's Roberto Perez. Jose Ramirez gets to start at third base today, and Mike Aviles is in left, batting ninth.
And Luis Severino is our Northern Ohio Honda dealer starting pitcher for the Yankees. He's making his 4th start, his 2nd one against Cleveland. In his last start, he had a no decision in that 16-inning game. He pitched very good ball game, 6 innings, 7 hits, allowed 2 runs. He walked 1 and struck out 2. And then his other 2 starts, one against Boston, one against Toronto, he lost. They didn't score him many runs. He's pitched well in every start. He has very good stuff. We'll see what he has to offer the Indians this time around. Now that they have an opportunity, they have already seen him once. Let's set that defense behind him. It looks like this, and it's brought to you by Jeep. In the outfield, it's Gardner in left, Ellsbury back in center field, Beltran over in right. Headley at third, Gregorius at short, Drew is at second, Bird at first, Murphy doing the catching this afternoon.
Lance Barrett has the plate this afternoon. Tom Woodring at first, Dan Isanya is at second, and C.B. Buckner down at third. We're ready to go on a picture-perfect day in the Big Apple.
Boy, again, we've said that every day here.
Indians have won 8 out of their last 13. Tribe is a half game behind Chicago now for 4th place in the AL Central. Trying to climb their way out of the basement. And the Indians 5.5 back in the jumbled up wild card race. The pitch, and we're underway in New York because it's outside ball 1. Toronto and the Angels both occupying the wild card spots. They've been playing each other the last couple of nights. Jason Kipnis has had a good series. He's gone 4 for 9 with 2 runs scored. Severino throws a good fastball up in the strike zone at 96 by him.
Yeah, he's pitched before that 95 miles an hour, so he's got something on it.
Got a piece, and it got a piece of him.
See the protection on that front foot. This one again off the back leg. We've seen that a couple of times, haven't we?
That is weird. Now the 1-2. Kipnis sends one to left. Gardner on the move toward the line. And he's got it for out number one. Our keys to the game are brought to you by Wayside Furniture. First in line. When the Indians score first, they're 38-12. And don't get spooked. They retired Posada's numbers. We've always heard about the ghosts of Yankee Stadium. This may be the new Yankee Stadium, but with Monument Park and all the history of this organization, there's a lot of hype and pomp and circumstance in the park today.
There sure is.
There is Monument Park, which was transplanted. They brought them over from the old ballpark, which was literally right across the street. Francisco Lindor has gone 1 for 8 in the series with a run batted in. He hammers this ball deep right field. Beltran watches it sail into the seats. Lindor stakes the Indians to a 1-0 lead, his 6th home run of the season.
Well, there's the wish. You get on the board first. Lindor, a little line shot home run. That goes to show you this ballpark, and when you put a good swing on the ball, it doesn't have to be in the air. You don't have to get a lot of it. You just get a good piece of it, and this ball gets out in a hurry. Santana had a line drive homer last night for Lindor. That's his 6th home run. So the Indians are first in line again today.
And now Michael Brantley steps in as Lindor accepts high fives in the Tribe dugout. It's always important because, as we've told you, the Indians' record shows you at 38-12 when they score first. It gives them a great opportunity to be successful, but especially here in New York, because the Yankees, when they score first at home, they're 26-1.
Yeah, they're very, very good. But now I guess our next goal is to get 4, because when you can get the Indian starters 4, that's the next number in line.
They've lost 2 games this entire season. I think it's 36-2 when they score 4 for the starting pitcher.
Severino, that's only the 3rd home run he's given up. Young man, just 21 years old.
A 1-1 to Brantley. Lifted the left, Gardner. 2 down. I'll bring up Carlos Santana. Down and in for ball 1. The Indians have won 4 straight now here in New York, dating back to last year. The last time they won 5 in a row in the Big Apple was over the 1988-89 seasons. So, been a long time since they've seen this kind of success.
This has really been a tough place for the Indians to play, for the most part. You come in here and it's not an easy place, especially when you only come once a year. The intimidation factor can be there.
Well, last night Carlos Santana, just like Francisco Lindor, just hit a line drive. Settled into the seats in the short porch and right.
That's a really good swing on the baseball, but you get rewarded here in Yankee Stadium because that porch is so short in right field, and Santana will draw the walk.
Rick, you mentioned how tough a place this is to play for the Indians. You go back to 07, our first year working together on TV. Indians didn't win a game against New York that season, here or in Cleveland, and then beat them in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's hard. That's really hard to do. And things seem like, we have talked about it here. For the first 6 innings, they seem to go fine. But it's from that 7th inning on where this can be a very difficult place to play. And in the first 2 games, it showed. But the Indians were able to hold on to win.
The Indians showed me something in the first 2 games of the way they were able to withstand a couple of late Yankee rallies and hold on for the victory. Into foul ground comes Chase Headley. And the side is retired. But not before Francisco Lindor lines a home run into the seats and right. The Indians will play from in front. The Yankees are coming to bat. Francisco Lindor has the Indians out in front early. Let's take a look at Joe Girardi's starting 9 for the Bronx Bombers today. It is brought to you by Toyota. Jacoby Ellsbury and Brett Gardner, the top 2. Carlos Beltran batting 3rd. Then it's McCann, Bird, and Headley. Didi Gregorius, Stephen Drew, and John Michael Murphy behind the plate batting 9th.
Danny Salazar, a Northern Ohio Honda dealer starting pitcher. Salazar is 23rd start this year. The 25-year-old is 11-6. 316 earned run average. He's been very dominant against the American League East this year. 4-0, a 124 ERA. His last 2 starts against the Yankees, the Red Sox. He's pitched 14 in the 3rd innings, given up just 8 hits. So he has been dealing, and as he said before, when I was a kid growing up in the Dominican, these are the 2 teams we heard about, Boston and New York, and he has stepped up.
First pitch to Ellsbury is in there for a strike. Right back to the screen. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Had an opportunity to show you the style or the grip of his 2-seam fastball that he's starting to throw and has been. And it seems like it has more movement. He's going more with the seams, or on the seams, I should say.
Line drive, base hit.
Well, good pitch. It was a fastball, a good fastball. that Ellsbury fights off. Let's check out the defense of the Indians this afternoon, brought to you by Jeep. It'll be Aviles in left field. Almonte is in center. Chisenhall over in right. Ramirez gets the start at third base. Second career start for him. Lindor at short. Kipnis is at second. Santana at first, with Perez doing the catching.
So Ellsbury is aboard on a little floater. It just was beyond the reach of Ramirez at third base.
That ball looked like it was our super slow-mo cam. It just floated into the outfield.
Brett Gardner in the series 2 for 8. He batted second in the opener. Leadoff last night, back to the 2-hole today. Upstairs, ball 1.
One reason the Indians have done so well against the Yankees, they've been able to control these two guys, Ellsbury and Gardner, for the most part. Gardner got it going late in the game last night, if you remember that bunt in the 8th inning. He gets on, and that's when they started to mount a comeback.
Now 1-1. Deep right. Hooking. Gone.
Now, in no other park will you see that ball get out of the ballpark. But it did here. It looked like it almost hit the top of the fence. If not, it just barely got over, and it's right down the line, and that can't be but just a little more than 300 feet. Line drive, and the two hitters, New York comes back. They will take the lead. It did. It just jumped off the top of that wall. 19th home run allowed by Salazar, and it didn't take the Yankees long to respond.
New York leads it 2-1 as Carlos Beltran stands in against Salazar. That bounced a good 5 feet in front of the plate.
Yeah, you can see the market left out there in front of home plate, way out in front.
That's going to make the seats. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Beltran. Broken bat bouncer. Lindor with the shift on throws out Beltran. He might need a new shipment of bats before this series is over.
That's true. He broke 2 in 1 at bat last night.
That'll bring up Brian McCann. McCann, left-handed power bat, serving as the DH today. Well, if the first inning is any indicator, we could be in for a high-scoring affair today in the Big Apple. Or those could simply be just a couple of fluke home runs to the short porch and right.
That's true. But you know, in day games, it's a little different. It looked pretty windy out on the field today. We'll have to get an idea what's going to happen.
Again with a drive, and the Yankees have their second home run of the inning.
I don't think we're going to call them fluke home runs anymore in a day game.
I think we could be in for a high-scoring game today.
You get the ball up in the air and go to right field, and you can see a lot of them fly out of here. McCann hits his 22nd. And there's a ball middle of the plate down. And he golfs it out of here. So it's a 3-run first for the Yankees on a pair of home runs.
Now, it's interesting to note that with the 3 runs on the board already, Indians starting pitchers have allowed 3 or fewer earned runs in 36 of their last 45 road games.
That's very impressive. He's going to have to shut them down the rest of the way.
Yep.
If he wants that to continue and add to that number.
And it's not going to happen now. Oh, it got in front of the pole. Foul ball. Greg Bird. The Indians have held him in check, but he almost got loose.
Well, Danny's going to have to slow it down. He only allowed 4 hits in his last start against the Yankees at 7 1/3 innings. He's given up 3 already in the first 4 hitters. So he's going to have to find some better location. And he hasn't had time to settle in.
Now the 3-2. Almonte, the center fielder, over to his right, makes the catch 2 down. And it will bring up Chase Headley. Our window system's game time temperature 80 degrees. A slight breeze blowing out toward right field, it would appear, especially the way the ball jumped out of here so far. Yankees, all 4 runs coming via the homer. A solo shot by Lindor, a 2-run homer by Gardner, and a solo homer by McCann. 2 balls, 1 strike to count on Headley, who's 2 for 9 in the series. Even the count. Good looking pitch from Salazar. I'm not sure what was wrong with that. Full count. Take another look here.
We've got it on our Nissan pitch tracker. Maybe a little in off the plate. Hard to tell. I saw a couple inside there in the top half of the inning that was not called. And I'm thinking to myself, this could be a hitter strike zone today, and boy, you hate to see that in this ballpark in a day game with the ball flying.
Ramirez can't get to it. second time the Yankees have blooped one just beyond his reach in this inning.
Yeah, once again, he gets inside on the hitter and fights it off the other way. And this one bloops in there again. But now Mickey Callaway is going to come have a talk with Salazar, trying to settle him down. There's not much you can do there. The mistakes he made with the home runs, all right, you're going to have to live with. But you can't get upset about the other two, the singles, really.
Let's go downstairs to Andre Knott.
Guys, Salazar's had problems in the first inning getting loose and throwing as hard as he wants to. I know in Fenway in his last start, he pulled the Trevor Bauer and threw from foul post to foul pole. Today, he didn't do that with everything that was going on with Jorge Posada. Now, I'm not blaming the beginning of the game on that, but he knows it's a problem that he's had in getting warm and throwing the way he wants to throw in the first inning. And it looks like that bugaboo was struck again today.
Well, let's hope he can reel it in a hurry before they put any more on the board. He's already given up as many hits now than he did in his last start facing the Yankees. And that covered 7 in the third innings.
Didi Gregorius.
So I think it's safe to say that they have made an adjustment to Salazar this time around.
Well, to me, it's one of those games where they've come out and they've bloodied his lip right out of the gate. So what he has to do now is it's just all about competing. Might not have your great stuff, might not have your pinpoint command control, whatever it may be. He has to find a way to get some outs, get out of the inning, and keep this thing from getting out of control early.
Settle it down quickly.
He gets 2 quick strikes on Gregorius.
I mean, you look at him already. It's the first inning, 30 pitch inning. He's at 31.
Right back. That almost rode the wire into our booth.
I'll tell you, that was amazing. Coming right back, it was going to be well short of us, but it did hit the wire, holding up that backstop. It almost came in, and you would have had to have some hands up, pal.
It was like a circus act. It was riding that wire right up the.
It was like a squirrel crawling up there.
Yeah.
Watch out.
Gregorius pops one in the air, left center. Aviles, the left fielder, squeezes it to end the inning. But New York rocks Salazar in the first. A 2-runner from Gardner, a solo shot from McCann. And they now lead it 3-1 after an inning.
Live Indians baseball is back in 2015 with the MLB.com at bat on your smartphone or tablet. Stay connected with live radio broadcast, stats, breaking news, and more. Download MLB.com at bat, the #1 app. for live baseball.
Second inning in New York, 3-1 Yankees. Abraham Almonte to lead it off. Almonte 1 for 7 with a couple of runs scored so far in the series. And Severino delivers a strike.
Well, this is the most runs the Yankees have ever scored for this guy in his first 3 starts. This being start number 4. They didn't score any in his first time, 1 in the next 2 starts. So he has to feel like a different person now after he gave up 1 in the first, and they come right back.
Well, the Indians did a good job of responding in last night's ball game. When New York scored in the 4th, the Tribe came back with a run on the 5th. When New York scored 2 in the 8th, they came back with 3 in the 9th.
That's one thing you want to do if you can here. That takes the momentum away from them and gets this crowd out of it a little bit.
Francisco Lindor's home run got the Indians on the board in the 1st. Almonte fouls one back.
Wow.
That went off the mask of John Ryan Murphy and all the way back over the screen.
How about that? It deflected over the netting behind home plate. Right off the top part of that mask, and it knocked it off. He acted like it was no big deal.
Upstairs. Oh, he called that a strike. You gotta be kidding me. That was ball 4, and Almonte was headed to first, but.
Well, let's take a look at it. He threw the bat away, was heading down to first, and yeah, that's up and away. He held it. It looked like a little backdoor cutter, but that's if that's a consistent strike today, you better live up in the zone. Look at it on pitch tracks. He didn't like it, but it goes down as a strikeout. His first strikeout today.
Well, if you're going to call the high strike and the low strike, look out. Perez never took the bat off his shoulder. And on 3 pitches, he's out number 2.
That one's right down the middle. Well, I don't know if he's picking up the baseball or not, but that's one that's you got to offer at it.
Ramirez rolls one to second, and the Tribe is quickly dispatched here in inning number 2. Going to the bottom of the second inning. Take a look at our injury report brought to you by the injury lawyers at Elk and Elk. Terry Francona says it's still too soon to know when rookie right-hander Cody Anderson with a strained left oblique will be used once he's ready to come back from the DL. He said they will not go to a 6-man rotation in the month of September. He's ruled that out. But what you can do, and Rick, and we've seen this in years past, you can move guys back, give certain guys an extra day's rest if they need it.
Right.
You probably want to keep, depending on how he's feeling. Corey Kluber, he likes to go every 5 days, so maybe there are certain guys that you'll keep on that every 5th day, but there are other guys maybe you give them an extra day or two here and there.
You can do that, and that's what the Yankees are doing right now with Tanaka and then CC. They seem to be going every 6 days, and they're picking and choosing how they go about it.
Andre tells me that Cody Anderson's scheduled to go 3 innings in Lake County for the Captains on Monday as he tries to work his way back. And what was wrong with that? Wow. 1-2. Stephen Drew 2 for 5 in the series. And now he bangs a base hit in the right field. John Ryan Murphy, the number 9 hitter in the Yankee lineup today, getting the start behind the plate with the everyday catcher Brian McCann DHing.
Yeah, another day game coming tomorrow, so you let McCann rest the knees, the legs. This guy played, I think, the second game in Cleveland after they had that 16-inning affair, and he got up and held his own in that ball game.
In his last 12 games, Rick, he's got 12 hits. Which isn't bad because we're not talking about 12 days. That's 12 games.
Yeah,
that goes back
right
to the middle of July.
Yeah, occasional starts when that catcher needs a day off. A lot of times day games after night games.
You can see the commemorative patch the Yankees are wearing on the front shoulder of John Ryan Murphy, commemorating the retirement of Jorge Posada's number 20 today, and then tomorrow they'll do it again for Andy Pettitte. Foul back. Rick, the one thing I'm noticing is not many swings and misses here.
You know, that happened in last night's game by both teams. I think they had, what, 78, 79 foul balls between both teams. And, you know, when Danny's a guy you usually get a lot of swings and misses with. But you're right. To this point, they're getting a piece. They're staying alive. I don't know if the location's right where he wants it to be.
And Murphy singles to right. Drew will go to third. First time through the lineup, the Yankees have banged out 6 hits against Danny Salazar.
They have their hitting shoes on today, and that's a pretty good at-bat. That had to be elevated for him to take it in the air to right field. Let's take a look at the location of this pitch. Yeah, it's upstairs. That's mid-thigh. You know, that ball's down, and he can't hit it that way, at least get it in the air. He'd have to hit it on the ground. Enables Drew to go to third base. They have first and third now, nobody out, and threatening to add on.
Carlos Carrasco last night struck out 11 Yankee hitters in 6 2/3 innings of work. That was the most since Bartolo Colon struck out 13 back in 2000. But just a few hours later, it's a different story. The Yankees have come out and they have met the challenge against Danny Salazar. And as we said in the first, it's up to Danny to try to keep this from getting away from him early. A couple of those hits, the one by Ellsbury and the one by Headley in the first inning, they were just little bleeders that fell in. Everything else has been pretty crisp. Right back to Danny. He'll go to second, and he throws it away.
Now he's absolutely shaken right now. He finally made a play. You can get the double play. They would have had a run anyway, as Drew stopped. But once Salazar goes to second base, he sort of let up on the throw and didn't give a good feed to Ramirez. I mean, to Lindor, who was right there. He was sitting there waiting for it. You make the play. Now watch how he sort of lets up and sort of throws it under. You know, didn't give him a good feed. Going to be an error on Salazar. And boy, it's been a tough day already for Danny.
Give Ellsbury an RBI, his 27th. And now Brett Gardner as the Yankees look to ice Salazar early. Tagging at second base is Murphy, the catcher. He'll go to third. And there's one out here in the inning. Austin Adams already getting loose. And
boy, yes.
This is almost 50 pitches for Danny Salazar in the second inning. Wow, Beltran with a wicked hack and fouls it straight back. 0-1. By the way, Redbird went back and checked it out. First time through the order, there were 3 swings and misses. 1 by Chase Headley, 2 by Didi Gregorius.
Okay, that's it. Well, they've done a lot of damage. 6 hits that first time through. That tells you right there he doesn't have it. You know, he hasn't worked that breaking ball in to try and take him off something, the fastball. Everything's been hard. How many changeups have we seen? That's going to be
run for Aviles. He'll make the catch. Murphy will tag and score. 5-1 New York.
That came on an 0-2 pitch. You know, everything has been hard for Salazar today. He hasn't backed off it at all. So another couple on the board. It's a 5-1 ball game here in the second.
Ryan McCann, who homered his first time up. With Ellsbury at second base. Terry Francona, Mickey Callaway engaged in the conversation in the dugout. I have to imagine some of the talk is, okay, it's obvious to everybody in the park he doesn't have it today, but at what cost do you want to burn through your entire bullpen?
True. That's true. That's one of the few pitches down he's thrown today.
You know, we talk about strike one being so important and what the pitcher does with that after that. I mean, how many times did you look up last night with Carrasco? It was 0-1, it was 0-2, 1-2.
Again, and he stayed down so well all game long in the strike zone. And you see that these guys are swinging. I mean, they're taking some healthy cuts
out of their shoes.
I mean, Danny, and everything is hard. He's got an excellent changeup that he's got to try and throw at times. And I mean, this is where Perez has got to help him work his way through it, because he's not establishing or controlling his heater the way he normally does. So you go to some off-speed stuff. You got to take these hitters off the fastball, because right now they're hitting it, and if they don't, there you go, a changeup.
Gets his first strikeout of the game, not surprisingly, by taking a little something off. But the Yankees hit 2 more, and they lead it 5-1.
Show you why Danny Salazar has been hit all over this ballpark. If you look at the heaters, they're upstairs, middle of the plate. Great pitches to swing at, and the Yankee hitters are doing it. I mean, that one was up a little bit, but jammed that one up out over the plate. He finally got his first strikeout, and it was on a changeup.
And if you notice, the one pitch that was down was to the wrong guy.
Yeah, the one that likes it down, right.
Mike Aviles leading off here in the third for Cleveland. Pops it up. Foul territory, playable for Greg Bird.
There you go, right over near the Yankees dugout.
Now we go to the top of the order and Jason Kipnis. It might be one thing if a team has a big first inning, they score 5 in the first. But when they score in the first, then they score again in the second. It has to be a natural feeling for the offense to say, man, we've got to get something back. We've got to do it quickly.
Yeah, well, the thing of it is, this guy that's out there, he's throwing a lot of strikes. And, you know, he had after they got the 3 on the board, he came out and had a nice 1, 2, 3 second inning, a quick one, to get his offense right back in there, and they scored again. So he's starting to settle in and relax a little bit, where the Indians are saying, all right, you've got to put a 0 on that board for the Yankees and do it quickly.
Well, Jason Kipnis with a good patient approach draws a walk.
Well, get your fan design t-shirt courtesy of Toyota. Wednesday, August 26th, the Indians will host the Brewers, and the State of the Tri-Town shirt was designed by a fan in an online contest earlier this year. Visit Indians.com for your tickets.
Francisco Lindor, he homered to right in the first.
You know, and hopefully the offense, they get it, because you can't go out and just try and hit home runs or get on and try and get it back all at once. There's plenty of game left. You have to just work it the way you've been hitting, the way you've been doing it, getting 2 out base hits, moving it along for the next guy.
The Indians only run thus far coming on that home run by Lindor in the first.
Yeah, that was a fastball. It was right there. Great pitch to hit, and he did. He hit it.
And that's in the hole, a base hit. Kipnis tearing around second. He'll head to third. And the Indians trying to get right back in it here.
There you go.
First and third with a 1 out.
There you go. That's the way you do it. A couple of base hits. He started it off with a walking Kipnis. Then they follow it up. Lindor now 2 for 2. Both Indians hits today. The Indians have had some high scoring games in this ballpark. They opened this ballpark up.
Michael Brantley is batting .395 since the All-Star break. .25 hits, Rick, in his last 55 at bats.
Well, he can get hot like no other.
Our Levin Furniture player profile shows you just how smoking hot Brantley has been.
8 multi-hit games. Out of the 9 he's hit in, so it's.
And everybody else is dog tired in August. He seems to have found another gear.
He certainly has, and he just he's the same every day. Very patient.
And mind you, he just had that gimpy shoulder. He had to have a shot, try to get that. So, like everybody else, he's beat up, but he's powering his way through it. Serving as the DH this afternoon, trying to deliver for the Tribe right here. Checked, it was high. 3 balls in the strike. Oh, they said he went around.
Well, you don't see Michael check many swings. You know, so this is a pitch that, you know, I don't know if he picked up. Let's see from the side. That was close enough. They called it. You don't see him do that often.
To Bird. He'll go to second. Did they get the out? Yes at second, no at first. I'm not sure he was on the bag at second base.
But Kipnis doesn't score. He stayed at third base. He never left the base. He thought he was going to go home, but the Bird goes for the double play like he should with 1 out. And Kipnis remained there. Let's see if they check it out.
Can Terry Francona challenge this play? Let's take a look.
Well, is it the neighborhood play?
That throw pulled him off the bag.
Well, he wasn't on the bag. You're right by the time he catches it. But are they going to say neighborhood play? But the point is, Kipnis has got to go home there once he sees the throw to second base.
Terry Francona is going to ask him to take a look at it.
Yeah.
You're allowed to come off the bag to avoid contact. I don't think if the throw takes you off the bag, you can be absolved of that sin. But Terry Francona is asking him right now, talking to home plate umpire Lance Barrett, and I think he's going to go. Well, now he's going to go to Dan Isonia at second base and have a talk with him.
He's the crew chief.
Because
right?
Again, Rick, the rule is if to avoid contact you want to come off the bag, you're allowed to do that. But if the throw takes you off the bag because it's a bad throw, then that's not the neighborhood play. That's just a bad throw.
Well, he's explaining it to him, and we'll see if anything, would that be a crew chief challenge at that point? Is that what he's trying to do?
He's going to ask him to take a look at it.
Okay. Well, that's going to.
Well, maybe not.
All 4 umpires are going to talk about it first to see if they saw anything.
Again, this isn't the second baseman getting out of the way, or in this case, the shortstop. This isn't Gregorius getting out of the way of the oncoming runner. This is him trying to get the throw, which clearly takes him off the bag.
Yeah, his footwork was a little weird for the throw that he received from the first baseman, Bird. So they don't turn it. There you'll see it from another angle. He's clearly off the bag when he catches the ball. Then he tries to turn a double play, and Brantley beats it. And in turn, Kipnis stayed at third base and never scored the run.
Boy, they're having a long conversation. Now, this is a crew that is minus its normal crew chief. So C.B. Buckner is acting.
So now they're going to go explain to Terry. No, we thought he was on the base. You watch. See, now Terry's going to get aggravated because he's hearing something that. He's explaining to them what they saw, and that's not going to fly because he was clearly off the base. So it looks like it's going to remain first and third, except there will be 2 outs now, and it'll still be a 5-1 game. Yeah, he's going to get aggravated the more he talks to him.
He's going to get.
Well, he will. He may get tossed because the blood's going to start flowing. There
and now he's been ejected.
So a short afternoon for Terry Francona, and that explanation didn't suit him well.
I wonder if we'll ever get an explanation.
Probably not.
Carlos Santana, the batter. More importantly, Rick, what happened to Jason Kipnis on that play?
He froze. When the ball was hit to first base, he started and he was waiting for him. And once he started to throw to second base, he should have took off. He just stayed there. He never left, and he ended up being a bystander.
Oh, and 2 the count. Up and in.
You take a watch when the ball's hit to first base. Watch him. He freezes, but when he throws to second, you see he's saying go 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 go, and he just got caught and couldn't restart it again.
Yeah, it looked like Sarbaugh was telling him go.
He should have went. As soon as he turned to throw to second base, you take off. I mean, because they were trying to get out of the inning on the double play.
Santana strikes out, and somehow the Indians do not score here in the third. Just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to stay tuned later in the game for Miller Time, brought to you by Miller Lite. So the Yankees go back to work here in the bottom of the third. They lead it 5-1, and Greg Bird leads off. Pitch down low. Bird fly to center, his only time up. Out of play.
There's a curveball he overthrew. He just not a feel for it today for Danny.
Got a piece.
Bird getting a chance now that Mark Teixeira has that bone bruise on his leg and probably will not play again tomorrow. So they're getting a good look at this young man at first base who's holding his own. Look at the sun. It can be tough out there today.
That'll bring up Chase Headley. Headley blooped a base hit in his first time up. Swing and a miss by Headley. To left, Aviles. Oh, what a nice backhanded running catch by Mike just inside the line for out number 2. Time now for a Mazda game break. Here's Al Pawlowski. Two down, bases empty. Didi Gregorius cuts and misses. Slide to left his only time up. He's 0 for 7 in the series. Just doesn't seem to have a feel for that off-speed
pitch. It's the rhythm.
Pitch.
It's the rhythm today. He looks to me. I'm just trying to think, and I'm keeping my eye on him. If he's rushing a little bit and going, too fast, trying to go. He's not in good rhythm. I think he's just a little too quick with his delivery today. He just looks rushed to me. He's getting it short, quick, and then rushing to the plate, not pausing to let everything catch up.
Lifted to left. Aviles coming in. Lost it in the sun.
There it is. That's a tough sun field here in Yankee Stadium, left field. It'll do it to you.
Gregorius will be credited with a double.
Does he even have glasses? He's got the glasses on. He's explaining it now to Almonte. Look, I got over there. You have to shade it with your hands if you can. He gets over there. See if he uses the glove. He's looking straight up, and then he ran it right into the sun. Really, that's a helpless feeling. Not a whole lot you can do. He's running it right into the sun. So if he puts his glove up there, he'll lose the ball. But that's right in the middle of that sun. So that'll go as a 2-out double.
And Stephen Drew, the batter who singled and scored in the second inning. It just seems like so far, and I know we're only in the third inning, but everything that can go right for the Yankees is, and everything that can go wrong for the Indians.
Yeah. Would you talk about don't get spooked?
Yeah.
Well, they're
forces
out.
Beyond their control.
Yeah, they're out today. See if Danny can pick up the defense because of that ball in the sun.
Let's go down to Andre.
Playing off of the whatever goes wrong for the Indians can go wrong. Originally in the lineup, Tito had Jose Ramirez in left field, Mike Aviles at third base. He said, you know what, let's see Jose at third base. He hasn't played there that much this year, and I think Aviles will be better suited for left field. Well, what do you think that says now?
Well, yeah, I understand that. I knew. I said, what was it, Thursday night, that these day games will be tough in the sunshine. This is a tough left field. Always has been. The old ballpark, the new ballpark, it doesn't matter. That's just like in Boston, Fenway Park has a tough right field. New York has a tough left field.
Just from an experience standpoint, Mike Aviles is better suited to play left field.
I thought the same thing. I thought the same thing when he said that. I didn't know that they switched.
We've seen veterans make that same play. I mean, left field veterans who've been out there their whole career.
I know it. Well, you know what? All guys know how to handle the sun, and they have glasses and things like that. But there's just sometimes you lose it in the sun. There's nothing you can do about it. It's a terrible feeling. You know, thank God there were nobody on base. Now you just hope to get this last out and not allow them another run after the Indians didn't get on the board in the third inning when they should have had a run.
Well, it looked like Danny was going to breeze right through this inning.
72 pitches already.
He was over 50 in the second. There's been nothing easy about it today.
These two guys aren't even on the same page, because how often do you see Salazar take this long to get ready?
Strikes him out to end the inning, and everybody's in slow motion leaving the field. 5-1 Yankees after 3 in the Bronx.
$2 Miller Lite pregame and postgame fireworks on Friday. The Indians will face the Angels coming to town. Go to Indians.com for your tickets.
Lonnie Chisnall going to lead it off for Cleveland here in the fourth. Fouls it back. That's the second time we've seen a ball. I think that foul went off the. They get the glove?
Yeah, it got the glove.
Thought I got the mask.
It got
again.
the tip of that glove. That's why he couldn't hold on to it. It sounded like it. They had similar sounds.
bit low. And Lonnie lines it into center field. A base hit. It's the third hit today for Cleveland. But they get their leadoff man aboard for the first time.
Well, he got a ball to his liking that was down the middle with 2 strikes. They take it right back up the middle. That was right there to hit.
Abraham Almonte called out on strikes. His only time up in the second. Popped out of play.
Got a couple of good hitters counts here in this situation for Almonte. 2-0, fouled it off. Now he's got a 3-1 count.
Popped up left center. Ellsbury takes it one away. Time now to tweet your strongest fan photo to us using the hashtag #STODataStrongFan for a chance to have one of your pictures shown during our telecast. It's all courtesy of T-Mobile. Roberto Perez called out on strikes his first time up. He took 3 pitches, all 3 for strikes.
Yeah, he didn't move the bat off his shoulder.
He's seen 4 pitches, and they're all strikes. Two and 1 to count. Finally swings at a pitch and comes up empty. Pops one up. Foul ground. Bird near the seats. Makes the catch.
Nice play. Very nice play. We're back to the infield. He's getting close to the seats, and he didn't really have an opportunity to take a peek because of the sun and the bright sky, but he makes a nice play. He stays with it for out number 2. That's the difference between daytime and nighttime. At nighttime, he'd be able to maybe take a quick glance down to see where you're located on the field before you get near the seats or the wall over there. Daytime, you can't do it.
Pop back out of play. Another pop back out of play. Last night, our great clip of the game, Jose Ramirez providing 3 hits out of the number 9 spot in the lineup. He also scored a club high tying 3 runs in the game. Batting 8th today with a runner at first and 2 down. It's 3 straight foul balls in the exact same spot.
Yeah. Those people, they don't even sit in their seats anymore. They're standing up, waiting for every pitch.
Another called 3rd strike. We go to the bottom of the 4th, 5-1 New York. Well, the Indians are down 5-1 as we go to the bottom of the 4th inning. And for New York, John Ryan Murphy, the number 9 hitter, to lead it off.
A couple of Indians fans getting their picture taken in Yankee Stadium, huh?
Hey, we're back on the road to glory with the high school football season. It kicks off this Friday night. Brunswick and Highland open the new stadium down for the Highland Hornets. Jeff Phelps, Frank Stams, Ryan Cavanaugh. Game 1 of the high school football season, Friday night at 11 on Sports Time Ohio. John Ryan Murphy singled and scored in the 2nd. Pops this one back out of play.
Well, he was the first time through, the 6th hit for the Yankees that first time through. Well, their second time through, they have 1. And that was the sun ball. That shouldn't have been a hit.
Right.
But that's all they have. So Salazar has reeled it in a little bit. Doesn't have the breaking ball today. No curveball, no slider.
And he cost himself with an error in the second inning.
Right, his own fault, right?
Swung out and missed. He has his third strikeout of the afternoon. One down here in the fourth.
Changeup coming in here with 2 strikes. You see the grip, watch the downward movement, and you have him out in front. The first time through, he left him a pitch, a fastball up out over the plate, and he got the base hit to right field. So you can see the change in the speeds, keeping it down in the zone certainly works.
Jacoby Ellsbury singled and scored in the first. And it was his ground ball, his comebacker to Salazar that he threw away into the outfield. It was costly in the second inning as the Yankees would score twice. Oh, and 2 the count. Chased it, strikes him out, and that's 4 now for Danny. 3 in a row going back to the third inning.
Another changeup down and away. He gets Ellsbury to chase after it. Well, I bet he'd like to start all over again and say, let's go back a couple hours and let me go back out to that bullpen and warm up and start all over.
Okay, now I got this figured out. Well, it was Brett Gardner who got Salazar before he was able to settle in that first inning. Just roped one down around the pole in right field, and the Yankees were off and running. Again, there's a good change of pace that he didn't have early in the game. That boy, could he have used it then?
Yes, he could have. And you know, the pitch before that, he tried another breaking ball. He just couldn't get it over. Seems like his arm's not catching up.
Strikes him out. Danny Salazar whiffs the side here in the fourth. Suddenly he's fanned 5 Yankee hitters, but the Yankees lead it 5-1. your Northern Ohio Honda dealers. By the Cleveland Clinic. Call for an appointment today. And by the game-changing all-new Ford F-150. The future is tough. Great shot of Madison Square Garden in downtown New York City. And I understand the Cavaliers will make a pair of trips to the Big Apple to play the Knicks this year.
Well, that's right around the corner. Before you know it, huh? Basketball season's right towards the end of our season.
Yeah, they'll start to camp right at the end of the baseball season. Mike Aviles leading off for Cleveland here in the 5th. Cut off by Headley. Has to spin around, but throws him out. 1 down. I wonder if playing at Madison Square Garden for NBA players holds the same sort of big stage setting and atmosphere as Yankee Stadium does for baseball players.
Well, I don't know. I've never been in there for a venue. Have you? A game
I've
of
never
any
been there,
kind?
huh? No.
I really don't know. It wouldn't surprise me if it does.
The Knicks don't necessarily hold the same status that the Yankees do,
True.
but that venue
Right.
has been home to some not only great basketball moments, NBA, college, think about the Big East tournaments, the history of boxing. Every big musical act probably that's come down the pike has played Madison Square Garden.
Our good friend is working there running that now. Mike Lear.
That's right.
Out at Madison Square Garden. Spent some time in the Indians organization.
Yeah.
The Sports Channel. He's been all over.
Kipnis down on strikes. That's 5 Ks for Luis Severino. Mike gave me my first chance to work in baseball back in 1994.
Is that, yeah, how about that? It goes back a long time. He spent time all over the country. Last stint was out in San Jose, working with the Sharks organization.
Francisco Lindor is 2 for 2. He homered in the first. He singled in the third, and then he was a central figure in that play in the third inning that short-circuited a potential Indians rally. Depending on your point of view, it's either a bad call or maybe a bad interpretation of the neighborhood play that's technically not reviewable. Whatever the case, Terry Francona was ejected because of it, and the Indians have not scored since Lindor's homer in the first. It's your birthday.
It is? Whose birthday?
They say it's your birthday.
Go try. There you go. Well, let's look at the good and bad Salazar. The first time through, the fastballs were bad. They didn't miss any bats. And the second time through, look at this. Slow stuff, off speed. Those are going to be our Circle K strikeouts. But boy, he was dealing a totally different animal the first 2 times through.
He's now fan 5 on the afternoon as Carlos Beltran takes a strike to even the count at 1-1.
The last 4 in a row.
Popped out of play. It's almost as though in his zest to establish that fastball in the first inning or first time through the lineup, he abandoned the off-speed pitcher.
Yeah, you know, that's he's been so good recently doing that, you know, mixing his pitches. And the location on the heater wasn't that good, but you know, I'm not sure if they tried to throw many breaking balls, but they were a little tardy doing that.
Lindor with the underhand flip takes care of Beltran. One down for Brian McCann, who homered in the first, struck out his last time up.
He's getting the ball. It seems like his tempo's a little better now in between pitches as well.
Waves at the off-speed pitch.
Now he's getting the swings and misses. It's amazing.
Unfortunately, he's probably going to be done after this inning. Just when he started to really get in a groove and figure it out.
But the thing of it is, look at this.
Another strikeout.
At least he's back and he has the feel that he had for so many starts in a row.
Hey, grab some friends and catch a game at the new Corner Bar. It's open to all fans of Progressive Field. $13 district tickets presented by Sports Time Ohio are quickly going. So get yours today. Indians.com/district ticket. Up and away, ball 1 to Greg Bird, 0 for 2 on the afternoon. Bird smacks a base hit into right field. Snaps a string of 6 in a row set down by Salazar, and here comes Brad Mills. That's going to be it for Danny Salazar.
Yeah, he wanted him to go one more, get out of it. He fell behind Bird, and you know you're going to go with that heater. 2-0. He did. He gets the base hit, so his afternoon is over.
Salazar, 5 runs, 4 earned on 8 hits. Those 5 innings, almost 5 innings, 4 2/3. And so we've got a timeout in the Bronx for a pitching change. Cleveland Clinic call to the bullpen. Right-hander Austin Adams is coming on when we come back. Pregame summary brought to you by Toyota. Francisco Lindor got the Indians on the board first, a solo homer in the first, but the Yankees roared back. 2 bombs in inning number 1. Brett Gardner, a 2-run shot. Brian McCann, a solo homer. They would add 2 more in the second, and they're up 5-1 with 2 out in the 5th.
Well, and for Danny Salazar, just 4 2/3 innings, 8 hits. It's the second most hits he allowed this year. His last start, I mean, the most he's allowed is 9. That came in the start May 16th at Texas, where he went 4 2/3 as well, but gave up 9 hits that ball game and 7 runs. Today he gave up the 5 runs to this point. He's responsible for the man on first, but that first time through did him in. He didn't miss any bats.
May not seem like a lot, but I think Mickey Callaway was probably applauding Salazar for not coming completely undone in that second inning where they had to yank him then. At least he got him into the 5th, so they didn't have to completely tear up the bullpen today.
That is true.
Right back to Adams, a fantastic grab by the Indians pitcher, and the inning is over. We've played 5 in the Bronx. It's the Yankees 5 and the Indians 1. Down 5-1 thanks in part to Luis Severino, our AT&T U-verse rewind. He has struck out 5 on the afternoon, but more importantly he's only given up 3 hits. One of those a solo homer to Lindor in the first.
This young fella has very good stuff. Still looking for his first major league win. It'll be start number 4 here this afternoon. 2 of them have come against the Indians. He had one against Boston, his very first one, and then his last start against Toronto. But this is the first time that the Yankees have been able to put any runs on the board for him.
Rip foul into the Yankee, just beyond the dugout, into the photo well. What's going on, Andre?
You know, Joe Girardi before the game talked about having some curiosity how Severino would pitch today. He says you always wonder how guys respond the second time they see a team. He's so young. He goes, we feel pretty good about his stuff and his poise. He goes, you just don't know how he'll face a team the second time around. It seems those runs early have really helped him calm down and settle in.
Yeah, they usually do, Andre, when they can get you some runs. Are you still on down there? I got a question for you. What's that sun looking like up there from where your vantage point is?
It's a little bit better now because there's a cloud cover over it, but it is high and it is hard to see them with sunglasses. It's very difficult to look into.
I got you. That's what I wanted to know because I could see. You can see it when there's no clouds there, right?
I'm going to have a nice tan by the end of this game, though. Don't worry about that.
Swing and a miss by Brantley. He's down on strikes. That's a half dozen Ks for Severino. And he's now retired 7 straight. Up comes Carlos Santana, who walked in the first, struck out in the third. The 1-1 to Santana is low.
Severino's done a nice job today, Matt, throwing a lot of strikes. 58 of his 85 pitches have been in the zone. He's walked 2. It seems like for the most part, pitching it ahead in the count.
Santana taking an extra moment with the jet roaring overhead. The 2-2. Do you remember a lot of airplane noise at Old Shea when you played there that first year?
I mean, that's the first couple of years, man. They were flying all over the place.
I remember watching games on old WOR out of New York. And it would just seem like all of a sudden the announcers, you couldn't hear them because those planes would be just roaring over the top of the stadium.
That was sort of good when you were a player. You didn't hear the fans yelling at you.
Hey, Manning, you.
Yeah, right.
Santana liftoff, deep right, back is Beltran. He makes the catch. Right in front of the wall for out number 2. Time now for Arkia in the driver's seat. Told you before, when the Indians score first, they're tough, 38-12. But today they scored first, and it's been all Yankees since.
Yeah, the Yankees punched back today. They responded, but if they want to keep that going, they're going to have to come back. They're down 4.
The 1-0 pitch. Swung out and missed. Boy, Rick, it just seems like ever since that third inning went haywire offensively, the Indians have not mounted anything.
That's true. There was a single by Chisenhall. It's about the only thing they've done since that point. And it was in a count with 2 strikes. And he threw one right down the middle, and Lonnie was able to get it, and that was a leadoff single.
Downstairs. 3-2 pitch. Lonnie draws a walk. It'll bring up Abraham Almonte, who is 0 for 2. Struck out in the second, fouled out in the fourth.
That's Severino's third walk. He had him down on the count 1-2 and ended up missing the next 3 pitches.
And a strike call. Past the dugout into the seats in a hurry. And those are not cheap seats.
No.
Those are very expensive seats. They should come with a personal protector for foul balls. And the 1-2.
Tried the same thing with Chisenhall when he had him down 1-2. Tried to get him to swing or chase a changeup. He didn't do it. Then he missed on his next 2.
Roped foul again. Monte putting up a good at bat here. Down on the dirt, full count. .100 pitches on the day for Luis Severino, and the Yankees get a right-hander up in their bullpen. Chisenhall will be off at first. The 3-2 to Almonte, and of course it's a foul back. Low, ball 4. Back-to-back walks, and with 2 outs here in the inning, Larry Rothschild will pay a visit to the mound to talk to Severino.
That's what I thought. He had both hitters down in this inning, 1-2 in the count, both Chisenhall and Almonte, and he ended up letting him off the hook, so they have 2 runners. Boy, what would you do for a blast right about now?
Ooh.
Right down the right field line. Couple of free passes, a 3-pointer. You're right back into it, and it would have changed the whole complexion of this game.
Stay tuned for Indians Live, presented by Conrad's Tire Express and Total Car Care. Coming up next here on Sports Time Ohio, Alan Jensen will have the highlights back in the studio, get you up to date on anything you missed earlier.
Not much going on in baseball as far as action goes right now.
No, it looks like everything's later on.
Everything is later on.
Roberto Perez will be the batter as you look at the schedule. Roberto has not had a good day at the dish. He was out on 3 pitches in the second, fouled out to the first baseman in the fourth.
It only takes one fastball away, where if you stay on it and poke it right down the line like that, only fair.
Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking.
That old Derek Jeter inside out swing to right field here.
Well, that's the thing about this ballpark. You see how easy the ball goes out to right field. He did the Indians a favor walking 2 guys in this inning with 2 outs. Had an opportunity to put him away, so boy, it would be nice to make him pay for it, because this will be his last inning.
Buckled his knees but missed 1-1. One ball, 2 strikes. A big Yankee Stadium crowd. They've been quiet through much of the afternoon because all of the activity was early. Now the 1-2 to Perez. Outside, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Another 1-2 count.
Perez with a liner to short, pick, and the out at second base ends the inning. Didi Gregorius with a terrific play on a hard hit ball right at him, but he's staying with it. And New York escapes, still on top by 4. Data Strong fan photo of the game. And don't forget to tweet your fan photos to us using the hashtag #STODataStrongFan for a chance to have one of yours shown during our telecast, all courtesy of T-Mobile. Looks like Holly and company are here in New York. That looked like it was out front of the ballpark. You know, it's funny, I just said that and I was thinking to myself, you know, everywhere we travel, even though there are some facilities that are named Angel Stadium, Kauffman Stadium, This is the only place we go to where nobody says I'm going to the ballpark. They say I'm going to the stadium. This is known as
Yankees,
the stadium
yeah.
in New York. Yankee Stadium. The 2-1 pitch. Broken bat, but it hangs in the air for Almonte. 1 down.
Well, enjoy the new family deck and expanded kids clubhouse at Kids Fun Day. That'll take place next Sunday out at Progressive Field. Kids can run the bases after the ball game. You can visit Indians.com/kids for complete details.
Stephen Drew 1 for 2 on the day. One ball, 2 strikes. Hit off the end of the bat towards short. Lindor on the move. Throws him out. 2 down. That'll bring up John Ryan Murphy. Series finale comes your way tomorrow. It's a 1 o'clock start as Trevor Bauer looks to even his record on the season at 10-10 against CC Sabathia. He was 4-9 this year with an ERA over 5. Comes your way tomorrow at 1 right here on Sports Time Ohio as we wrap things up from the Big Apple. Swing and a miss by Murphy.
Yeah, then the Tribe will head on to Chicago for a makeup game Monday afternoon. Play that one and head home.
Yep.
Don't forget about that one. The Yankees stay here, and Houston follows us in. They've been on an extended homestand. They had Minnesota for 3, us for 4, and then Houston will wrap it up here on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
And then New York, almost in the exact opposite of the Indians, will go on the road briefly and then come right back home for a long homestand.
Yeah.
We're going to go home briefly and then go right back out for another 10-game road trip.
Yeah, we had, 21 out of 26 on the road is what the schedule was. And then eventually we'll make it up in September.
Well, as I mentioned last night, too, Rick, the Yankees so far have played the fewest home games in the American League, so they're about to make up for that. The 1-2 is strike 3 called. Inning over. 6 in the books. It's still New York 5, Cleveland 1. Cleveland.com to learn more. By Levin Mattress, located in all Levin furniture and freestanding locations. And by AT&T UVerse, has more channels on the go than cable. Looking for King Kong. 5-1 New York. 7th inning. Yankees go to their bullpen for right-hander Adam Warren. Luis Severino went 6 innings and gave up 1 run on 3 hits today. Struck out 6, walked 3. Jose Ramirez 0 for 2. Indians' best chance to score since that homer by Lindor in the first came in the 3rd inning. They had 1st and 3rd with 1 out. Michael Brantley bounced the ball to 1st. Greg Bird threw to 2nd, where Gregorius got the force at 2nd base, even though he was off the base on the throw. Terry Francona came out and wanted to challenge, but was told he could not challenge after a lengthy discussion by the umpires in the conference. They told him basically he couldn't challenge it. He was irate, then really enraged, and then got tossed out of the game. This was the play back in the 3rd with the Indians down 5-1 and threatening to come back and get back into the game. He's clearly off the bag when he takes the throw, but he was called out at 2nd. The runner was safe at 1st, so instead of having bases loaded and 1 out, there were 2 down, and Terry was ejected from the ball game. Now, I'll be curious to see what happens afterwards as Warren flips to 1st. When Joe Girardi was ejected from the series opener,
Right.
they made the crew chief Dan Isonia talk to the reporters after. He had to talk to a pool reporter after,
Right.
just for him getting tossed out of a game for arguing balls and strikes.
Right.
So,
We'll see.
so many times umpires have nothing to say after game or aren't made available. I'll be curious to see. Here's one that warrants, okay, what exactly was the call? Why?
What'd they talk about?
Why was it not reviewable? I understand that in the original, replay system, they didn't want the neighborhood play involved because you want to protect players. You don't want a guy to have to stay on the base at 2nd base and get plowed into. But that, I think, is taking it a little too liberally when the throw is offline and he's going off the bag to catch the throw, not to avoid the runner. Then you've got 2 different things. And I'm sure that's what Terry was arguing.
Well, I think that's why all 4 of them met. They may have talked to each other and said, hey, did anybody see anything different than I saw? It was the crew chief that was there at 2nd base anyway. And obviously they came to the conclusion, no, nobody saw anything. We can't change it. We can't overlook it. You can't appeal it.
Avila's rung up. 2 down.
Adam Warren, he pitched 2 innings in the first game of this series, gave up a hit and had a strikeout.
A little bit high, 1-2. Dylan Betances getting loose for New York. Struck him out to end the inning. Indians go 1-2-3. And New York still leads by 4 as we've reached the 7th inning stretch. Brought to you by Spitzer Auto World. Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. Jorge Posada before the ball game had his number 20 retired by the Yankees. Joe Torre, Derek Jeter, Bernie Williams, Mariano Rivera, Tino Martinez, and a host of others on hand to help honor one of the Yankees' all-time greats, a 5-time world champion, a 5-time All-Star, and forever immortalized here in the new Yankee Stadium. Austin Adams went a scoreless inning in the 3rd. He gives way now to Ryan Webb in the 7th. Ryan Webb will face the top of the Yankee lineup.
Yeah, it was all the damage done early today. The first time to the lineup for the Yankees is where 3 in the 1st, 2 in the 2nd. And only 2 hits since that point, so they jumped out early. They came back. They responded to the Indians, who put their only run on the board in the top half of the 1st on a solo home run. And we're going to redo this again tomorrow. Andy Pettitte, the one that'll be honored for the Yankees prior to the game tomorrow. Wrap up this 4-game series here in the Bronx.
Bernie Williams, Mariano Rivera have already had their numbers retired.
You look out there, there's not many that haven't.
So it won't be long for Derek Jeter. I don't know how long they'll wait for him.
I don't know.
When you talk about where they talk about the core 4 here in New York, which was Jorge Posada, Bernie Williams, Mariano Rivera, Derek Jeter. Those were the 4 guys here for that period of time in which the Yankees were able to win 5 times. Nice play at 3rd by Jose Ramirez as he throws out Ellsbury, 1 away. You know, I've talked to a number of Yankee fans over the years who always lament to me the fact that it was the Indians that interrupted their run. You know, I don't know how many they would have won consecutively, but in that '97 season, thanks to Sandy Alomar and Omar Vizquel and company, they upset New York in the division series that year. Then went on and upset the Orioles in the ALCS. But the Yankees had won it in '96. They won it again in '98, '99. They win it in 2000 as well. They did, didn't they? And then the Diamondbacks got him in '01.
That's right.
Downstairs. Yeah, if the Indians hadn't have beat them, they might have won 5 in a row.
That would be scary.
The 2-2 outside. And the 3-2 offering is swung on and missed. Ryan Webb. It's Gardner, and there are 2 down on the 7th.
Well, season tickets offer the best perks, including savings and access to Tribe Rewards. And today's Tribe Rewards TV code is Johnson. Visit Indians.com/season tickets for your details.
Carlos Beltran beats the shift. He said, all right, I'll take that 2-seamer and bounce it through that big hole.
That's almost like a bunt for him. You don't have to run. It was hilarious. It was almost like he was trotting the first, like he hit a homer, because he knew it found the hole.
And I saw Ryan Webb's reaction. He just turned around and said, oh, there's nobody there.
Right.
We got the shift on.
That's exactly right. You can see him over there on the second base side. Yes. No.
Normally, Ryan's thinking, oh, that's a ground ball to the shortstop. Oh, wait, we don't have a shortstop.
I know. That's exactly like a bunt for a hitter like Beltran. I'll just cruise, take my home run trot.
Look at Ryan's like, oh, we don't have a guy there anymore.
Yeah. Well, maybe you should have turned around and looked at where the defense was playing before you threw that pitch.
Here's Brian McCann taking.
But, you know, a sinker ball pitcher, he gets the ground ball, you know, and that's what he's looking for. It's going to be sinkers away, and you hope he tries to roll over on it. Young comes on to pinch run for Beltran, as he usually does, and then goes in for defense.
Checks. It's a bit outside, I guess. 2-0. You noted earlier, most of the action in baseball is coming up later on, including in Detroit tonight, where the Tigers host the Rangers, and Randy Wolf is going to start that game for Detroit. They've had all those injuries to the pitching staff. He's still pitching. This is his 39th birthday. He's making his first start of the year for Detroit. And Gallardo is going for Texas in that game. There's a ground ball. He beats the shift.
Look at another look like that, but that's the way it goes. Those left. It's just amazing sometimes why hitters don't do that more often, you know, with the shift like that. And then they'll force you to play a normal defense. But McCann's a pull hitter. But you know what? 5-1 lead. Look, he just gave in and says, let me slap it that way. Beltran, same thing. Let me go that way. I mean, look at the swing. He's not trying to pull that at all. Look at that ball hit down in the right-handed batter's box to go down the third base line.
But it's a great illustration. That overhead shot, perfect illustration of something that you've talked about over the years, and that is hitters forget how much plate coverage they really have. And you can get to a pitch that's off the plate
if you want to. Absolutely.
Particularly in RBI situations when you want to get that run home.
Yes, you can. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. If you give in, don't get greedy and take what take what they want to give you. There's nothing wrong with that. What's wrong with a measly single? Oh, a measly single and an RBI. Sorry about that. I think more hitters should try that. And maybe in the near future we'll see it happen with the way the defenses are playing now.
2 on, 2 out. Greg Bird, the batter, 1 for 3. I don't want to make light of this because Michael Brantley is a phenomenal player, and I know that not everybody can be Michael Brantley at the plate, but if more hitters start adopting his philosophy, which is use the whole field, the shifts are going to go by the wayside eventually.
Well, they should, because I'll tell you, they're taking a lot of hits away from hitters, and if the hitters will accept it, then that's their problem. But the reaction I just caught and saw is from the pitcher, where he made 2 pitches he thought they were good pitches, and he got his ground ball, and they're both base hits the other way, and he thought his players were in position, but they're not.
How many times do you have to hit your thumb with a hammer before you get your thumb out of the way?
Once.
Eventually, you're going to figure it out. You're going to say, hey, you know what? I don't like the way this feels. Let's make an adjustment. Hit hard but foul. You know what's funny about that, Rick, is I mean, this is going back a long time. I remember when Eddie Murray was the hitting coach for the Indians. They were taking batting practice one day, and somebody hit a rocket shot right to where the third baseman was standing. And man, I can't believe it. And Eddie said, there's been a guy standing there for 120 years. Don't hit it there.
Yeah, it's stupid hitting.
Fouled away.
Now you see that approach with 2 strikes.
Webb's 1-2. Swung on and missed. He strikes out a pair in the inning. And we go to the 8th. It's still 5-1 New York. Is presented by authority of the Cleveland Indians and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cleveland Indians. The Indians scored a run in the first. The Yankees scored 3 in the first, 2 in the second. Not a single run in the game since then. In fact, only one runner has made it beyond second base since the second inning. And that was Jason Kipnis, who, as we said at the time, should have scored in that third inning. But the way the game has played out since then, I'm not sure it would have even mattered. Indians only have 3 hits in the ballgame, and now Dellin Betances is in for New York. Chris Young stays in the ballgame in right field. You think of the arms that we've seen coming out of that New York bullpen over the last 20 years or so, from Jeff Nelson, John Wetland, Mike Stanton, Mariano Rivera, Tom Flash Gordon, and yet this guy is the first Yankee reliever to have back-to-back 100 strikeout seasons. That hit the bag. It's going to be a fair ball and potentially extra bases for Lindor. Headley's throw. Not in time. Lindor's in there safely. Takes a look at third, but scampering to retrieve the ball quickly was Drew. So a leadoff hustle double for Lindor. Although if Drew comes up with the throw, he's probably out at second base.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. He took off and he was thinking, he made the decision early to go for second base, and it was a weird play because all of a sudden that ball hits the bag and pops up. He was looking at it all the way. So he coached himself, and I'm going to try and get to scoring position. The second base goes head first. And that hustle gets him a double. That's 3 hits now for Lindor on the day. 10th double of the year.
Dynamite hustle. Have to love it. Michael Brantley 0 for 3.
Yeah, you know why? He's in there. He hustled. He's safe. It's easy to go down and round first base and sort of stay there. It's no big deal. It's 5-1. But, you know, that's excitement. Let's go. That's hustle. That's what you need. They need a little pick-me-up, man, a little spark. You're running low on outs. You're down to 6. You have a lot of work to do. And he has 3 of the Indians' 4 hits today.
Lindor and Brantley, they have really carried the bulk of the Indians' offense since the All-Star break. Squibb back to the mound. Lindor has to hold at second. Betances flips it over to first, one away. Francisco Lindor, the subject over McDonald's I'm loving it, hit one out in the first.
Yeah, just a nice line drive.
Bounced one into right field in the third.
Yeah, that made it a first and third situation. And then the hustle double right here. That is going to be our McDonald's I'm loving it. Why not? He had a good series against the Yankees back in Cleveland. 3 hits again today.
Lindor said growing up, one of the guys he really patterned himself after, or at least looked up to, was Derek Jeter. So, you know, he wanted to play well with Jeter in attendance here today. You figure, Rick, most of these guys were just getting to the big leagues now. They were kids when Jeter was starting to really make his name in baseball.
Yeah,
so.
and if you were a shortstop, why wouldn't you want to be like him? There's the devastating slider from Betances. He has a good one. That's, you talk about back-to-back 100 strikeouts. It's tough to get 100 strikeouts because relievers nowadays, even though they get a lot of appearances, they only pitch 1 inning.
Yeah, very few guys get 100 innings.
No reliever. Boy, it's unheard of if they get 100 innings, isn't it? Those are the old days.
Yeah.
But I mean, when you can strike out 2 guys in an inning. All right, there's some hooting going on.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Low, full count. One on, 1 out, Santana. 1 for 9 in the series. Rope foul. Beats it into the ground to first base. Bird flips it to Betances. They get the out there. Lindor to third. Now there are 2 away. Well, Derek Jeter, he always had a flair for the dramatic, and of course you had to figure he would go out in grand style. His last game here at Yankee Stadium, of course, it's a walk-off hit.
Yeah, I remember watching that game. Of course, it couldn't go out any other way. Could have, almost like it was scripted.
No, and his 3,000th career hit was a home run to left field.
Right.
It's like, are you kidding me with this guy? Lonnie Chisenhall, 1 for 2, fouled out to end the first, singled to lead off the 4th, walked with 2 outs in the 6th. And he lines one to left field to get the Indians a run home here in the 8th inning. Now Chisenhall with a pair of hits. 29th RBI on the year, and it's a 5-2 ball game.
So that's what that leadoff hustle double gets you, is a run. You know, you take the single and it doesn't work that way. But now you get the base hit here with 2 outs. So getting on second certainly paid dividends from the hustle, and it makes it a 5-2 game now.
Now Almonte cuts and misses at a ball down and in.
Yeah, that's that nasty slider. First pitch, you see, if you're guessing fastball, there's no way you can swing at that pitch there. That one was down on his back foot, and it was nowhere near being a strike, I don't think, ever since it left his hand. So right there, to me, is a guess swing.
And now it's 0-2. $47,031. The attendance here at Yankee Stadium for Jorge Posada Day. All of the action in this one, though, was early. Indians trying to come back here in the 8th. They've got a run in, but Almonte is out looking to end the inning. 5-2 New York, middle of the 8th. Tomorrow afternoon, our coverage begins with Indians Live at 12:30. First pitch and 1 right here on Sports Time Ohio. Trevor Bauer trying to even his record at 10-10. CC Sabathia has had a rough year for the Yanks at 4.9 and a 5.24 Ernie. He'll go for the Pinstripers. Bottom of the 8th inning, Jeff Manship comes on for Cleveland after Ryan Webb worked a scoreless 7th.
Well, the hitter called timeout only because the defense was running to sprint to get into position.
It's just like, what are we, like a football sequence. We've got runners and receivers in motion across the formation.
That's exactly what it was. He was getting it, Headley getting
Ready.
up there. Watch this.
Blue 34.
There they go. Hold on a second. A little distraction for him.
In the dirt. Hit hard. Long throw for Kipnis. Santana's there. Yeah, that's out number 1. I wasn't sure, Rick, if Santana would be able to get up and get back to the bag in time because he dove for that ball initially.
Well, take a look at it. Well, he sort of stopped himself from going after it. That's what enabled him to get up so quickly.
It's almost like he started to dive and said, wait a minute, I've got a guy back there.
Right. That's right. Knowing where your guy is, your second baseman. You have to know that.
Didi Gregorius takes up and away ball 1. The Yankees believe that Gregorius has really made huge strides since early in the season. Early on, he appeared to be lost at times. A lot of routine fundamental errors and mistakes running the bases regardless. As happens with a lot of young players, the game gets going too fast for him. But eventually he was able to slow things down. And
like I always say with a young player, if you can get up here and learn the first time, you have to make mistakes to learn. That's what you learn from.
But added to this guy is that he's replacing a legend.
That's true too. That makes it a little tougher.
He takes a strike, full count. Off the end of the bat. And it's going to drop. He's going for 2. Oh, and he beat it handily. 1-out double for Gregorius. He didn't like the 3-1 pitch called a strike, so he said, to heck with that, I'll just hit a double.
Well, he did too. Got a pitch out over the plate. Going into right center field. They were playing him over a little bit to left center. But good hustle, gets in easily by the time Almonte can grab it, flag it down, throw it in. A 1-out double now. That's 11 hits for the Yankees.
Stephen Drew 1 for 3 on the day, singled and scored in the second. And it's off the glove of Santana. Gregorius will stop at third. Almost got him at first. Santana came back and applied the tag and then knocked him off the bag in the process.
You think? He jumped for that ball and it went off his glove. Now I don't know if that glove It's a day game. I want to see where this ball landed or where it hits his glove after he jumped for it. He thought he was going to catch it. And he just didn't come up with it. It went off the end of the glove.
I think he jumped too soon, maybe?
I don't know. I don't know if sometimes you could lose it in shirts, you know, with the day crowd. I thought he jumped and he thought it was going to be higher than what it truly was. It's tough to tell. But it'll go as a base hit. They will have runners at first and third.
Pop back out of play. Now the 0-1 pitch. Line to right. Lonnie makes the catch. Tagging is Gregorius coming home. Here's the throw. Not in time. He gets by all the way to the backstop. And Drew goes to second. 2 down, and the Yankees get the run right back. Lead at 6-2.
Probably be a sacrifice fly and then an error to allow the runner to go from first to second, I think, on the throw coming in from Chisenhall. He comes in to throw. It's going to short hop Perez at the plate. A tough play to handle for a catcher. And then once it gets by, the runner goes from first to second. So sacrifice fly, give the Yankees a run, and now you add an error on that to allow the runner to go to second.
One ball, one strike to count on Jacoby Ellsbury, who has 1 for 4 this afternoon. Brad Mills took over for Terry Francona when the Indians manager was ejected in the 3rd inning. But this game was sort of stuck in neutral from the time Tito was ejected until the Indians finally broke through with a run in the top half of this inning. But what happens? The Yankees quickly counter with a run of their own. Up the gut, base hit. Here comes Drew. Throw to the plate, and they got him. That'll end the inning. Nice throw by Abraham Almonte, right on the money to Roberto Perez. All he had to do was apply the tag. And the 8th inning comes to a close, but the Yankees get a run back. We head to the 9th. 6-2 New York. Ninth inning here in the Big Apple. And New York in command 6-2. Yankees go to their closer.
Yeah, maybe to get some work in.
Andrew Miller up and away, ball 1.
That's what I was figuring. Betances in the 8th. They were going to use Miller anyway to get him in to the game.
Roberto Perez chops one over the head of the third baseman Headley, and the Indians will have their leadoff man aboard here in the 9th inning. Looking back at our keys to the game, brought to you by Wayside Furniture. First in line. When the Indians score first, they're 38-12, but New York erupted with 3 in the bottom of the first on a couple of homers and then added 2 more in the second, and they've been able to hold on to that. Don't get spooked. Well, Salazar, I don't know if he was spooked or if he was just off. He didn't have a feel for his breaking ball. The Indians have committed a couple of errors. It's been a sloppy, kind of just an ugly game for the Tribe today.
Yeah, he tried to power his way through the lineup that first time, and it certainly didn't work because he only had a couple of swings and misses, and then that second time was a different guy. Started to change speeds, back off a little bit, and it made the big difference. But it might have been too late.
Jose Ramirez 0 for 3. Couple of ground ball outs. Called out on strikes. Fouls this one. And it's no balls, 2 strikes. The Indians came back on Andrew Miller in Cleveland, handing him his first blown save of the year. Up the middle, Gregorius will step on the bag, unload the first, 2 down. Ramirez trying to make something happen, but Gregorius cut him off at the pass. You know, in New York, everything obviously is magnified because there's just so much media coverage and attention with this club. And the fact that the Indians have won 4 out of 5 against New York, they were asking or perhaps pestering Joe Girardi about why his club's had so much trouble with the Indians, who are in last place in the Central. And he finally, with exasperation, said, look, they've given us trouble. I've always said this about baseball. It doesn't always make sense. But they've pitched really well against us, and we haven't scored a lot of runs. Well, today that was exactly what did the Tribe in. They didn't pitch well, and the Yankees did score a bunch of runs early. And they hang on to win this one 6-2. And the series is now in favor of Cleveland 2-1 with the finale coming your way tomorrow here from the Big Apple. Luis Severino goes 6 innings to get his first win. The loss to Danny Salazar, who goes to 11-7 on the year. And with the win, New York is now 68-54. They'll maintain their stranglehold on first place in the East, no matter what happens with Toronto and the Angels. The Indians fall to 57-65 on the year. Back with some more after this.